So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eazy Conversations. Thanks a lot to everyone who listened to the last episode featuring the homie Matt, Pat, and I. Pat, you absolutely killed it on here, and we look forward to having you on again down the road. So now for episode 181 of Eazy Conversations, I'm extremely excited, of course, to be back in the studio in person with the homie Matt. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day right now. Eric, you said it. We're live in person. Can't wait to do this episode. Also, for another reason, because we have another guest on today, guys, and every time he's on, it's a great time. So, Eric, why don't you introduce the guest today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, nice to be back doing this in person with you, Matt. And, of course, bringing on now, 7-time Hall of Fame guest. Who's counting indeed. You know him for his comedy movie expertise, his anime knowledge, some more comedy expertise. The man's range is second to very few. Ladies and gentlemen, the homie Kurtis Daigle. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everyone? Happy to be back. Very excited to discuss one of my very favorite passions with all of you today.
Absolutely. We're super excited. Happy to have you, that you agreed to come back on the program to discuss now your second time on here talking about the smash show One Piece live adaptation of the very famous anime that was your last appearance on the pod, where we discussed season 1. So if you haven't heard that episode, go back and check that out. But yeah, no, we're super happy to have you back to talk about season 2 of One Piece. So we'll be doing full spoilers of that show, talking about the 2 seasons, really a look ahead, and anything else covering that show. So spot to start, of course, Kurtis, we can go with you as you've seen the anime and can compare also to the live action. What were your thoughts on season 2 of One Piece?
Yeah, so I thought that overall season 2 was good. I thought that it didn't cover as much as maybe I was hoping it would. 8 episodes for something that has so much source material is I just find that you want more, right? But for what it did cover, I was pretty happy with. I think something that stood out to me was just the fact that the story was the story that they're telling is just so strong. Something that I'm still not super convinced on might be some of the action that they're trying to pull off in the live action. I think that's just probably going to come with the territory with trying to adapt a lot of this stuff into a live action, but the story aspect hit really hard for me, and I was like, it brought me back to when I was watching it as a teenager, basically, and it really hit hard, and it was nice to kind of relive some of that nostalgia. So
okay, great rundown of the season versus expectations for you, Matt. What about you?
Well, for myself, guys, I had an absolute blast with this show. I have not watched the anime. I'm going into this show blind, and I was not bored for a second watching these episodes. It flew by. What I liked about season 2 was the world exploration and the different cultures and people we meet and different things going on that I didn't even know existed in the One Piece universe. Loved just seeing the set designs, the costumes. I also liked all the character building they did, and the fun little side adventures our characters had. So that's my opening thoughts. Super fun show to watch. Wasn't bored for a second.
Yeah, same page for me, honestly. I was a huge fan of season 2. Tough to say if I liked it more or less than 1, but at the very least on par. Kind of did what I was expecting it to. With this world of fantasy, pirate, can sail anywhere across the world. The possibilities are endless, and what they gave us in this season I found was so much freshness and just new adventure that they just really delivered on that front, and I know there's so much more to come. And with all these new characters that were introduced added to the mix, it added a nice variety. And while it did have the side quest look and feel to it as well, there was still a nice, I found, storyline that was pushed along. A good deviation from season 1, which focused heavily on the Marines plot. I'm glad they kind of left that storyline to the side. I think Kobe was in 1 episode, maybe 2, and those characters weren't really missed, in my opinion. So I like what they did with season 2 and ditching that and then focusing more on world building and the Baroque works angle of the season.
Yeah, and I think that with a show like this that has such a massive kind of foundation, I think that you have to remember that, even up to this point in the anime, they're still setting the scene for a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, introducing characters and, the fact that they added a member of their to their crew this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's still we're still kind of setting the scene, and it is still kind of like the start of the adventure, so to speak. So while you're getting awesome elements of the story, you're still kind of seeing the cast kind of come together. And I really, really, probably my favorite part of this season was the introduction of Chopper. My anticipation for that was huge, obviously going in. So, and one of the bright spots for me was the introduction, how they pulled it off, and I loved the voice acting for Chopper. I thought it was spot on. Like, if you watch the anime, it's like a cute little creature kind of, and very timid and shy, and I thought they nailed that. So yeah, like it didn't accomplish a lot, but at the same time, adding a crew member is a pretty big deal, and I'm glad we got to see that.
Yeah, you said what I was going to say, Curtis, about how, my only maybe slight criticism of this season is from episode 1 to 8, all we've maybe accomplished was adding an additional crew member, because we're not closer to, like, I felt like it was a lot of side adventures this season, which I loved watching, but from episode 1 to 8, we haven't accomplished too much until, like, getting the ultimate goal of the One Piece and King of the Pirates. But like you said, Curtis, like 20-some hundred, like lots of episodes in, we're not even there in the show, and this is just season 2 of an 8-episode a season show. So I just felt like a lot of side cool quests going on, but at the end of the day, all they added was Chopper to the show, which was a welcome addition. Obviously, guys, we're going to do full spoilers on this season if that wasn't already apparent, but what do you think about that?
So,
what we said, Eric?
yeah, no, I agree. Like, thinking back on this season now, the side quest element, like maybe the Little Garden arc, you kind of can omit in terms of it's not pushing us towards the One Piece itself. But what that does accomplish, though, is the camaraderie being built and relationship building between, like, another character who now it is unclear whether or not she is going to be a crew member in Vivi, right? Where, like, that's another major character that I would see as, like, that's a new crew member who were introduced early in the season. Then it takes a few episodes to really get a feel on where she's at and what she's trying to get done in her life. And it looks like that'll be the focus for the next season, the Alabastas plot and war, potentially. So her, and then, yes, Chopper more at the end of the season. It was really those last 2 episodes where he comes into the picture. But before then, it was Vivi, I found, was a driving force of the show in terms of why all these little adventures are happening. It's to get time spent with her and justify why Monkey D. Luffy is willing to want to fight for her country and deviate from the One Piece, which I agree, like, that's the end game for this whole show.
Right.
However many seasons we're going to get of this, like, I'm just going to say it now, like, this show is going to end with Luffy getting the One Piece, of course. It's going to be way less seasons than the anime, but that's how it's going to end. So we can afford maybe seasons 2 and 3 are focusing on different storylines, and then in season 4 and 5, I'm jumping ahead here, but, like, I could see that kind of path makes sense depending on how long it goes for. So I don't hate the side quest plot, but it's serving a purpose in bringing all of our characters closer together. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say this, but I think that is One Piece, like, in a nutshell. I think there is an overarching goal that they're setting out to do, but like, there's a lot of, like, without saying anything, because, like, Matt even said it, like, they're still going in the anime, right? But there's a lot of people who kind of say, like, the One Piece is the friends you made along the way, or something like that, and, like, that's kind of like a memey way to say it.
Okay.
But as you continue to watch the show, like, you'll notice and you'll see, like, these characters, mainly Luffy, he's the glue that holds the crew together, and his relationship with the people that he meets, like, and it's not even just his crew, like some of the people that they meet along the way, you just get a better and better feel for who he is as a person and who he is as a captain. That, you know, like he met Vivi, and within how long after meeting her he decided he was going to help her, you know, and that's just the type of person that he is. And I think a lot of the kind of side quests or the deviations are just they're building the story, they're building the characters, and I think you get a lot of that. And I think it's really good storytelling when they do it. So
Just to add to that, like that's kind of the point of the show. It's like how else is he gonna find the One Piece if he doesn't go on these side quests, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're not necessarily watching it to see a sort of series of steps he has to overcome to find it. Like the steps themselves, the side quests are what we're there. We're just there to hang out with these characters and see them go on these adventures, right? So I think whatever they end up doing, side quests or not, it's just like this is kind of what you want to see, and at some point he'll have covered the all blue at this point and get the One Piece one day. So yeah, it's like a Sopranos-esque. Like, I just like hanging out with these characters. There doesn't even need to be a story.
That's right. The road or the boat trip, we'll say, is gonna be better than the destination
For sure.
Let's bring it back to episode 1, the pit stop to Logetown, where our crew we were introduced to our villain group in the show, guys. Baroque Works, and I have a question for Kurtis in a second about that. But I thought the show set the tone really well with the Zoro versus the 100 in that bar. That was really cool. And then fighting Mr. 9, I believe, at the end, who was no match for Zoro. That was cool too, seeing him get his sword. But no, Kurtis. Okay, Baroque Works. Me and Eric know that from the live action show, but like, how are they represented? How are they represented in the anime compared to the live action TV show?
So in terms of like visual representation, I think they nailed it. I think the casting was great. I think that if you were an outsider watching the show without any knowledge of the anime, you might think some of like the costume design or the appearance, the choices that they've made were a little bit, I would say, obscure or maybe outside of like what you normally see in a show. But they are, like, I would say, identical to what you see in the source material. And I think that it's just, you're not normally seeing stuff like this, so it might seem a little bit out there, but they've nailed the costume design, and I think that is a big thing. In terms of the Baroque Works as an organization, I think they did a good job with the characters. I think that the action that they brought was welcome. I think it's cool to see, some pretty, I would say, unorthodox powers being used. Mainly thinking of number 5 with his booger bombs, which I completely forgot about, by the way. Like, so, like, when I saw it in the show, I was like, oh yeah, this guy. But it was it wasn't something I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the booger bombs to come on. But like number 3, which in the anime pretty like a pretty memorable character, and I thought they represented the group really well. I think they had a good amount of screen time with relation to like how they were represented in the anime. And overall, like looking back, I think they hold like maybe a smaller part of my memory with regards to the show, but I'm glad they they got their flowers and they got their time. It is an important part to build up to where we are going for the next season. So
yeah, no, Baroque Works, they're definitely a B tier. Like, these are guys and girls who work under Mr. Zero, right, who had been mentioned in season 1 as well. So we've kind of been teasing towards this villain who we'll see probably be like the big bad of season 3 is my guess. But Matt, you must have been just ecstatic to see your boy David Dastmalchian pop up as Mr. 3. He was great. So that was like that's the thing. All these little arcs I found were very entertaining, introduced colorful characters, and to your point, Kurtis, about how these characters look like, I find this a show that's interesting in terms of recommending to people, where it's a cool fantasy, pirate. Definitely has a lot of adult moments, but also gives off, like, in my mind, like a childish vibe to it, where you're seeing these very eclectic, goofy looking, not intimidating characters that I find it's hard to really nail this show in terms of who is this for? Is this for people who grew up with the anime, who, regardless of how old they are, they're gonna tune in? People like Matt and I, who, like, 30s, never watched this anime but are hooked just because it's cool seeing pirates go on adventures. We don't have a lot of it, but no, I love, like, despite the booger flinger, it was. He looked kind of cool, honestly, his character, despite that power. I was a fan of that character somehow.
Doesn't want to take his jacket off in the heat.
He was cool, I found.
Looks cool.
Yeah. It's tough to pull that off and look cool, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
no, well said, Eric. The tone of the show. I love that, like, I'm a big kid at heart. I love that it's serious sometimes, but, like, at the end of the day, I'm Luffy smiling through it all. Yeah. And Luffy's smile is very infectious when I'm watching the show. Like, I'm having a good time like him. I thought the actor nailed that, like, what he was trying to portray Luffy as a happy, like, in all situations. It can all be summed up in when he's fighting King Wapol at the end. And Wapple's like, "Can you take this seriously? I'm trying to kill you." And Luffy's just, like, laughing his ass off. Yeah. Like, that sums up the show for me. That the tone, and, like, it's not super dark and gonna give anyone nightmares, but there's still, people are still dying and stuff. And there's some emotional moments definitely in the show. We'll get into that later. But for myself, the 2-episode Little Garden story arc on the island with the dinosaurs and the giants, that was really fun. Like, that was a highlight of the season for me. And of course with Mr. 3, the Wax Man, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to kind of touch on what you said, Matt, about Luffy's smile, which is it's just such a small thing, but it's awesome that you say that, because that's very true with the anime as well. And it's like, it is one of those things where I think I may have said it in the last episode, but it's, for the most part, it's a pretty fun show, and it's like, it's got a light sort of, like, feel to it, but Luffy can, like, turn, like, so quickly, and he'll go from, like, this smiling guy, and he's like, he is extremely infectious, you know. It is like, you've nailed it to a T, but he also can turn around and, like, you know, kick someone's butt after, and it just, like, it's just one of the strengths of the show is just, like, how polarizing he can be. But it like, he is the fun-loving guy. He takes everything seriously. Like, they even mentioned it, I think maybe episode 1 or 2, and was it Smoker that pointed it out to him? He was on death's door, right? And he just starts laughing about it, you know. And that's just kind of how Luffy is. He's just like, and it's interesting that Smoker was like, he was like, "No, you don't understand." Like, he was about to die, and he laughed it off, you know. And he's like, he's different, and, you know, you can kind of see pretty quickly that Luffy is a different breed, you know. So, I think you nailed it with that for sure.
So that you brought it back to that first episode now a few times, it introduced a lot that I feel like they just kind of hand dropped in there and didn't really explore further in the season, just like dropping little Easter eggs about things to come. And there was a character in there, Shadow, I want to say, who came in.
Shadow.
Am I just making that up? Or, like, in that scene, the scene where Smoker looked like was about to kill Luffy, there was a character who appeared and kind of that guy. He never showed up at all the entire rest of the season. Am I crazy here?
No, his name isn't Shadow.
He looked like he could have been a Shadow.
I don't know if they said his name.
Okay, I think they did really quickly.
It's
but
Dragon.
Dragon. There we go. Close enough.
I was like, who's Shadow?
Close enough.
Sounded right though.
It did. And he had that aura of a shadow. But, and again, to Matt's point about the smile and the laugh, in episode 1 they explored this very much by going back to the death place of Gold D. Roger, which now it's back-to-back seasons where I've just rewatched season 1, and I'm looking forward to rewatching 2. They keep mentioning Gold Roger and Luffy and kind of trying to make that association between the two, insinuating that potentially Luffy is his son. I'm going on the record now. I think this is deliberately misleading and that he is not, in fact, his son. That's my call. I'm sure you know by now, Kurtis. This isn't a secret. I feel like they'll keep dragging on. I would guess in the next few seasons they give us that answer, but I just feel like it's too easy, where there are those similarities, of course, and he is destined to be king of the pirates and find the One Piece, but I don't think he is in fact his father. What do you think about that, Matt?
I didn't even give that any thought. That's actually a good take, Eric. No, because they're trying to make it seem like it is, but they're just throwing us off. I feel like we are going to explore all that in the next few seasons, like the family history and all that. No, I haven't given that any thought, Eric. I like that.
Okay.
That the misdirection. And Kurtis, you obviously know way more than we do. And when we get into thoughts for season 3, we can discuss that
For
maybe.
sure.
But
Don't wanna jump the gun here.
this show, Kurtis, you mentioned the action. Maybe that's sometimes jarring with like all the devil fruit stuff, like the fantastical action. Yeah, it is a bit jarring sometimes, in my opinion. But they don't like overly heavily rely on that, and it's not there too long in the episode, so I can forgive it. Is that what you're alluding to, though, Curtis? Like more like the CGI stuff going on, or it looks too comic booky or fake?
Yeah, and I don't even know if comic book would be what I don't know. I think convincing is just the word that comes to mind. You know, like but I was actually just thinking about this today as I was like thinking about what we were going to talk about, and to be honest with you, when I think about the action scenes in the anime, they're not really like, it's not built on its action scenes, right? Like they have cool fight scenes, like there's a lot of fighting in the show. It's just like it's just the nature of it, right? But they're not like you've seen, like they're not state of the art animation with like, you know, a lot of emphasis put on the way it looks. So I think that it kind of does mirror the anime in a sense that the show it's not built on the way its fighting looks. I think it's really built on its story. And I will just say that I thought they did a really good job with Smoker's Devil Fruit. I think that maybe it's an easier one to pull off because it is Smoke, you know? But I thought that like his scenes were pretty well done, you know, and I thought that he was I was really excited for him. They teased him like right at the end of season 1, and I was like pretty excited to see him come in. He's like, you know, one of the few Marines at the beginning that is like a good character for me. So I was like happy with that. I'm like, you know, some of Luffy's fight scenes are a little bit like underwhelming, I would say. And like I wasn't like, just, you know, generally speaking, I didn't find that his fight with Wapol at the end was like all that climactic. I thought that the storytelling around that was a lot more impactful than the actual fighting itself.
You're right. The main takeaway of this show is not the action at all, which I honestly forgive at times when it looks goofy. I'm like, I don't even care. It's an anime live action adaptation. It's never gonna look as sick as it does in the anime. If I wanted to see sick action, I'd watch anime. But you're saying that's not even one of the main things you go into the show for. And this, because the story is and the characters are so good that you can excuse so much, which I still don't think is bad. Like I'm still enjoying myself watching Sanji jump in the air and fire off 4 or 5 kicks somehow before he even hits the ground. Like it's cool to see, and I kind of know where a lot of the fight scenes are going. Like, I know for the most part our characters are gonna be safe, but you kind of excuse it because everyone is so likable and you don't want to see any of them die anyways, right? So I would agree on the action front there. It's not critical for me that it may not look as awesome as it does in a show like Warrior, for example, which prides itself on its martial arts on the screen. Like it doesn't need to be that for me. It's all adventure and characters is what I'm here for.
Yeah, I am 100% with you, Eric. I'm here for like the stuff in episode 2 and 7, which were the most emotional for me. Episode 2 is with the whale.
Oh yeah.
And episode 7 is the Dr. Hiralook and Chopper little flashback that was very emotional, I'm not gonna lie. That's what I'm here for, the character moments like that. What you said, Curtis, it was a little you said the Wapol Luffy fight was a little underwhelming. Yeah, I agree with that. It was like, even when Wapol was catapulted out of the window, I'm like, oh, is he gonna come back? Is that it? We don't really see him. I don't know about you guys, but the last 3 episodes were all one big storyline, and I enjoyed that because of the introduction to Chopper. I even like Dr. Correa, played by Katie Seagal, TV legend, TV acting legend, Peggy Bundy. She was great. The whole like kingdom under oppression and like the redemption arcs and Chopper going through all these different emotions and then finally finding his family and like there's a lot of emotional stuff, but that's what I'm there for. And I don't know if you guys felt the same way about Chopper, but I thought he was a great addition. And even though he's a little like CGI reindeer, it doesn't matter. He had a lot of heart. He was funny. Like I appreciate stuff like that. What about you guys?
I'm a huge Tony Chopper guy. I've loved Chopper since I saw him in the anime. That was pulling me to the end of the season. Not that I was like, trying to rush going through the beginning, but I knew at the end that what we were getting to. But I will tell you, like, I was hit like really hard with the Chopper story. Like it was just like it's still like even though I've been through it and I saw it for the second time now, it still hit me so hard, and it was just like I thought that Dr. Heerlook, which ironically is, I believe the actor's name is Mark Herelick, who plays Doctor. So, I wasn't familiar with his
Perfectly
name.
cast. Yeah.
Insane, just like irony there. I thought he did a phenomenal job. Like Dr. Heerlook to me was not a extremely memorable character from the anime. I know him because of his relation to Chopper, but I forgot about that whole backstory about him kicking Chopper out and then him purposely accepting the mushroom in order to basically in order to advance that part of the story. And it was like that really hit me, and like that is why the show is so good, because you guys kind of said it. They went to like a random island that had no bearing on the ultimate goal itself. But Nami got sick. They had to find a doctor, and look what it turned into, right?
Yeah.
It turned into basically unoccupying a country, adding a crew member, and seeing like this just incredible backstory. And I think something that I find anime does better than any other medium is that you get these really elaborate backstories on all of your characters, and what happens a lot sometimes is even villains, not that this happened in this case, but you even get backstory on stuff like why people are acting the way they're acting or whatever, and you always feel for the character. Like anime does this better than anything. It's like a villain that's been terrorizing people for however long, and they show you a backstory, and it's like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. And like I love that. I love that, all of that stuff. Like we were able to see that, and I thought episode 7 was the best of the bunch for sure.
Well said. But this is a thing that I find One Piece excels at, is backstories. Whenever they give you, each character in this show has had their backstory episodes so far, and those have been the most emotional moments for all of them, honestly. Almost every single character has a tearjerker backstory moment at one point, and Chopper's was no exception. Probably the biggest one, honestly. I was fawning over that cute little munchkin there, who's like, that's going to be a cash cow for Netflix for years to come. Now, that's the Grogu of this universe. And no, instant fan favorite. How can if you don't like Chopper, there's something seriously wrong with you. I think there's no way to sugarcoat it. Just a versatile addition to the crew, insanely cute, and then can become a Charmeleon or Charizard at a blink of an eye. Really becomes what you want him to be, right?
He
evolves as required. And no, big fan. That was the best episode of the season for sure. And Heerlook, he was great as well. He reminded me he had a Christopher Lloyd-esque quality to him, like a Back to the Future Doc vibe. That's kind of that's what I was getting from him in that episode. And no, that was awesome. And the other one was it Laboon, the
Yeah,
whale? I was kind of hoping he would become a crew member as well. Like, I was hooked on Laboon. Thought he was going to be a little navigator, take some relief off of Nami for the stress of having to find the next island. But he's just chilling there. He's wonder if he's going to come back into the fold. But not to gloss over that episode as well. There, I feel like we've given Chopper some props there. But yeah, two amazing episodes. No doubt, those are the emotional heartbeats of the season for sure.
And having those 2 episodes in there to me like kept the pace fresh for if you were to run them all in one shot, or like me, one a day. Basically, what I did. Like, I was always looking forward to watching the next One Piece episode, and sometimes the tonal switches of more action-paced episode or a more serious episode kept it fresh for me and kept me intrigued the whole time. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this season flew by so fast for me. I was like, okay, I want 8 more. Like, I feel like a lot happened, but not a lot happened. I'm like, I want to see them on the boat more. I want to see them explore more. But they're kind of island hopping, which is fun to watch too. Like, when they got to Little Garden Island, I was like, I don't know what to expect on this island. And then I see a T-Rex that Roanoa, Zoro, and Sanji fight over who got the kill on. And I'm like, okay, a dinosaur, and then we got the 2 giants. Which the 2 giants, what were your thoughts on them? I thought they were kind of hilarious, and I like that little storyline. You're forgetting why they're fighting, and like I said, that was a big hit for me. That 2-parter there with Mr. 3, Miss Golden Week. Yeah, I like that.
It was good. I just want to add though, in between there, we did gloss over it quickly there, but the Zoro 1v100 in the saloon was a highlight for me this season. Like, that was the action highlight. Whenever Zoro gets fighting, like, for me, that's the peak.
Yeah.
In terms of action, nothing comes close to it because, like you said, Curtis, I do think Luffy, his power is objectively goofy, right? There's only so much you can do. Like, he does kind of diversify within, like, enlarging himself and not just throwing long punches and using his head to headbutt people. Like, it's whatever, you know. But again, it's not as cool as 3 swords being held, one in your mouth, which again can look goofy. But Zoro has that aura and is that silent assassin archetype that elevates any action sequence, and that was a Kill Bill, the bride versus the Yakuza. I don't know if they were Yakuza or ninjas, whatever, but it was the equivalent of that, and I love that scene. I was a big fan, and I did like how they gave us the callbacks of Dracul is just haunting him. Yeah. That's the goal poster, his end game, his motivation. I enjoyed having that inner dialogue for Zoro as well. Like, that was a solid, you know, tease Dracul's out there, but we're not gonna stuff him in our face the whole season kind of thing. He'll be back, season 4.
Prediction.
Yeah,
prediction.
I'm just ripping predictions early, but...
Yeah, no, I agree. That did set the tone, and I do think that the action that Zoro is a part of is probably the best action in the series. It's just a little bit easier to pull off, and like it's you know, I go back to the word convincing. It's sword play is a little bit easier to do. It was a sick montage of killing, or I don't know, injuring, I guess in some cases, but. But no, that was great, and I have to give props to the actor who plays Usopp, which I forget his name. I think it might be Jacob Robinson.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But the actor who played Zoro, McKenyu, he made like a tweet or something, and he's like, "Hey guys, tune into One Piece tonight and watch me fight 100 enemies at once," or something, right? And the actor who plays Usopp is like, "Hey guys, I also fought 100 people, but it was off camera. Like, we couldn't actually get it on film." So I thought that was like such an Usopp way to respond to that, you know. And I don't think Usopp's gonna get a ton of flowers, you know, just from us discussing it this season. But I don't know. Like, I think the actor's portraying him really well. And I think he brings a lot of like comedic relief, whereas like in the anime, I was not a big Usopp guy at the beginning. Found him a little annoying with like just how kind of like boisterous he was, but then also kind of cowardly at the same time. But I will say, just because I'm on the topic of likeness, I was hoping for a little bit more from Sanji this season. Sanji in the anime is a little bit closer to Zoro, in my opinion, in terms of like stoicness and like he's a bit quiet unless he's around a girl, and then he turns into like a big suck. Basically, he's like obsessed with Nami at all times, and things like that. But when he's fighting someone, like he's very quiet, and he always he has a signature move where he's listening to the villain Gap or whatever. He like quietly lights a smoke, starts smoking, and then like starts kicking ass, basically, right? And I don't know if it was like an actor choice or if it's Netflix or whatever. Like you guys said, could be a kids show in some aspects. Like, do they want to be promoted?
No, he's still smoking though.
Is he smoking?
Oh, he's lit multiple darts in the show.
I feel like maybe not pre-fight, which is weird because that's like when I think of Sanji, that's what I think of, and then I'm thinking that smokers literally smoking like 2 huge cigars.
Exactly. So they're not too concerned about smoking.
So I don't know what it is, but I'm not like anti-Sanji, but I just think that the portrayal isn't maybe where I would want it to be, but everything else I think like for the crew is going really well. I really like the action that they kind of started it off with Zoro this season.
Okay. Thoughts, Matt, on Sanji this season?
I thought he was very serviceable. Like, I didn't have a problem with him. I liked all the food talk. Like, he's always thinking about the meal and what meats to acquire. I didn't have a problem with him. I don't know about him in the anime, Curtis, so that's good that you fill us in on that, because that would have been much cooler to see. I agree. I was a big fan of Usopp in this season versus season 1. Right. They gave him a lot of screen time, but he's kind of a reluctant hero sometimes. He doesn't have he's not super strong in battle, but he's adequate enough, and when the time comes. I was a fan of him. I also like Princess Vivi a lot. She was cool. Good. Like, the actors did a great job. I didn't know where they were going with her character at first. We meet her in episode 3, and is she a Baroque or episode 2? Thank you. Is she a Baroque Works agent? Like, what's going on? But no, it was cool. Honestly, there's not many characters I dislike, guys. Like, I love the Straw Hat crew. Nami, they didn't give too much screen time to. I mean, she was sick some of the season, but. They can't give everyone their spotlight, right? I felt like Usopp got a little bit more this season. Love the villains in this show too. Like, I like seeing the craze, like Miss Valentine, Miss All Sunday, all like the different powers and look, and love that stuff. Even Mystery 3, like the wax power, that's like overpowered. Like, that's strong. Like, to have wax build that hard and like you can't break it, but then what happens in that episode, that was cool. And he's all about style and flair and panache. Like, he's got like charisma, that was like one of my favorite character actors. David Desmalchian. That was fun. What do you think? Any characters you dislike, Eric?
So perfect segue, actually, in that you've listed off a lot of characters. An exercise that actually Curtis has put together for us is kind of showing us side by side, which this would be better if you're watching on YouTube. You'll be able to follow along in seeing what both the anime version of the characters compared to their live action portrayals look like. So we've got Miss All Sunday, aka Nico Robin, I believe is her name as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see you got the side by side there. I was a big fan, honestly. I think they nailed the look. Like, she looks exactly like the anime version of the character. I mean, great cast,
perfect,
great pick, honestly. And she is one of the first characters we actually saw in season 2, where they invaded a marine base and she kind of just took them down with her hands, and then some, with ease. So she's been portrayed to be a powerful and intimidating character that we were just teased to in this season. Looks like she's the right-hand woman to Mr. Zero, perhaps. Who knows what the dynamic is there, but
seemed like she had her own motives sometimes, because she could have taken down our good guys multiple times, but kind of like lay low in the shadows and followed from a distance. So I like the mysteriousness of her character a lot.
Yeah, great call there, Matt. But yeah, Curtis, probably going to be defaulting to you there as you've seen the anime. But what were your thoughts on her portrayal compared to the anime?
Yeah, I thought it was good actually. Now that you mention it, I think her devil fruit power wasn't like I think it was done pretty well. Not that you guys would have seen it in the anime, but like from an effects standpoint in the show, I think it was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
With all the hands.
It
and
was.
stuff.
It was.
I think it's interesting because the original show is all in Japanese, right? But like this live action is a lot more diverse in terms of the cast and everything, and like she has an accent which I think
Russian.
fits her very well, her character very well. It's like a little bit mysterious as well, It's like, where's this person from? Like, how did she join this organization or whatever? And I think they nailed the look for sure. So yeah, definitely a great casting.
Exotic for sure. Anything else on All Sunday or?
I was a big fan of
Nico
her.
Rob.
Yeah,
Robin.
same. All right, we can go to the next one. So we've kind of touched on him already there, Mr. 3. Like, this is to a T. The
Wow.
costume design is incredible in this show. Like, they really, I've seen all these there, so I know they're coming, but it's really identical, honestly, in
Wow.
terms of how they got it down.
Yeah.
And Mr. 3 was one of the best, if not the best, honestly, of the Mr. and Mrs., I thought. Des Malchin, great actor. And he was a formidable foe. The mastermind of that grouping of Baroque works. But yeah, really good costume design.
I think that's dead on. Like,
Yeah.
wow. He was definitely the most colorful and like had the most flair, like I said, and what a great actress. So yeah, what do you think, Curtis?
I like how Eric pointed out the costumes because I think that they're kind of like they almost look a little dulled down like in the TV show. Like a lot of the costumes are like maybe worn or like ripped or tattered, which is good, right? Obviously you want it to look realistic, but like people have to realize this is basically copied and pasted from the original material, which I think is really cool. It's not like you wouldn't really think that. Like I wasn't thinking back, like looking at this being like, oh my god, that looks identical to the anime characters' clothing, but then when you go back and put them side by side, it's like, holy shit, they nailed this,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, you couldn't have picked a better actor for it. Even like the hair, it's like everything down to the glasses, perfect. So yeah, kudos to them for that.
Great stuff. So next one we got Vivi here, who I was a big fan of, honestly. Me too, Matt. She looks different, of course. It's a different race than the character in the anime. But I was a big fan of this casting for the character. I thought she was a great addition to, and Nami even said it early in the show. She's like, I need another girl on this crew. And I'm like, yeah, you do need another girl here because it's a lot of attention all going on Nami. You got to diversify a little bit here. And Vivi, great addition, which she'll at least be around for one more season, hopefully. And she was the mix of smart, could also mix it up action-wise with her... throwing
I don't know
stars
what you call
or
it.
something.
Yeah.
But no, I was a fan, and she had a royal air to her. Like the actress did a fantastic job of that elegance and knowing how to communicate. Really, as like someone who has been at the courts from a young age, even younger than she's supposed to be, listening in from back doors. But
Good call.
no, big fan.
No, they nailed the look really good, like the same outfit, the hair. Doesn't matter who they casted, the best actress for the job. So maybe Curtis, like in the book, in the anime, is Princess Vivi from a certain part of the world, or can you?
Yeah. So there was like a obviously there's some people out there who may have been questioning the casting for this, which is unfortunate, but I guess some purists were a little bit, they were wondering why Vivi was cast, or this actress was cast for this role, and I thought it was really cool that the creator of One Piece like vouched for this actress and said, it's already knowledge in the show that Vivi's from a desert country, a desert area. He said that this is an oppressed people. Potentially could mirror some of the cultural like areas in North Africa or something like that, right? And I think that one thing that One Piece does a lot better than maybe some other animes is the diversity within the characters they created. And Oda himself was like, he's the I believe, I can't remember his title on the live action, but he created the One Piece manga, but he's like executive producer or something. So he has final say on a lot of stuff, and he did vouch for this casting. So I wanted to include this because I thought the casting was fantastic. I thought this actress and this character brought so much to this season. I was really happy to see that, and I think she did a phenomenal job. So.
Dude, super well said, Curtis. I'm glad you gave that context, because it does speak to something that, now I'll just add on what you're saying, in that why I've kind of gone offline, because you're seeing, I had no idea that this actress had received any sort of backlash, and that's just because they've changed the image of this character that's been beloved on this anime for years, and if it doesn't fit your specific close-minded, narrow view, you're gonna go out of your way to spew hate towards an actress for this portrayal. Like, it's very sad and disappointing that this is something that people deal with in 2026 now, and yeah, it's disappointing to see. But she was amazing, and like I said, hopefully is not a character that we are done with soon. But yeah, I was a fan.
Well said, Eric.
So next one now can go to my dog, in that I was not a fan of the Marines in season 1. This guy brought some much needed life into this corpse of individuals, where Monkey D. Garp, sure, decent character, but he ain't no Smoker. And Smoker was just that badass good guy, but is he a good guy? Honestly, I know I'm just ripping predictions here, but I could see this guy's opposed to Luffy and our crew. He's trying to hunt them down, and he kind of has been shown to cut corners and take care of things in questionable ways.
Yeah.
So I feel like Smoker's a villain is my kind of take on him. Like, he's definitely not a clean cut good guy, but all this to say, looks the same as the anime version, and just a badass character. The Marines needed Smoker.
100% agree, and the anime Smoker looks like he's 100 pounds more of muscle than the live action one. Like, he's a huge dude. Loved seeing his power though. The smoke power was cool, and I got strong like Liam Hemsworth vibes from this actor. He reminded me of him, or like maybe Brad Pitt. And no, big fan with the 2 cigars, and he had a ring of cigars around his arm, like more like a power up. His ammo, that was awesome. Yeah. No, Smoker was like, I would have watched more of him. I love that little side quest him and Tashigi did, where they took out a couple agents while they captured one alive, and doing some investigatory work, which was a very, very minor plot in this season, but he was fun to watch. You're right, Eric.
Yeah, definitely one that I was looking out for. I don't know, I had mixed feelings about the cast. Like, I think he did a pretty good job, but I think, like what Matt said, he was like a towering presence on the anime. I don't know if he brought that. Maybe it's just like it's hard to replicate that, like on the in live action. I don't know how tall this guy is, but he kind of gave me Short King vibes. Like,
really?
I don't know why. It just like, maybe it was just the costume and like how it made him like look proportionally. But no, I think like I didn't know this guy beforehand. I apologize, I can't remember his name. I think he's like mostly a model actually, from what I remember seeing. But he doesn't have a big track record, Like, he doesn't have a long list of things that he's done. Not, in my opinion, anyways, not like anything super memorable. So, like, good on him for like getting this role. And I think he portrayed the character to the best of his ability. And like Eric said, I think that I think he was like opposing Garp at times, and like he was kind of like paving his own way. But yeah, you kind of have to think in these shows, like, who are the villains, right? Who are like because technically these are the law-abiding. This is the law. The people that govern the land. The pirates are technically the ones breaking the rules, right? So, like, I guess who is a villain and who isn't in this case. But yeah, I was really excited for Smoker, and like, really good character.
Yeah, I didn't get Short King vibes. I feel like he was a somewhat imposing character. He looked big enough. Maybe it's because he's next to, what was her name? Tashiki.
Yeah.
So it makes him look taller right there. But no, I thought he was a solid, like I said, needed rebrand for the Marines. Less Hell Depot, more Smoker, please.
Helmeppo, but
Same.
I will just say, I don't think this is a spoiler, but there will be cooler Marines to come, right?
Oh,
Like,
good to know.
Like, in general, obviously, there's going to be some cool characters, but the Marines get better.
Okay. Well, if Smoker is the floor, I can't wait to see the ceiling. Next up, probably the easy. Like, I don't know if you would think it's the easiest to adapt because it's not a human that you have to kind of find the perfect fit for lookalike and costume design. Like, you still have to nail the CGI. But Chopper, I think this is they nailed it.
Yeah.
But I guess it was kind of, how is he gonna look interacting with the characters, and how is the CGI gonna come across? Like, that might have been the concern, but I mean,
it's
equally cute in both.
Doing the eyes, I guess it might be the hardest part. Do you make him more human or like an animal? Like, see, like the anime is like they're pitch black, but they made him very human-like in the live action, and they could have made him more like a creature, I guess. No, extremely adorable. I love the hat too. Not much else to say. It's dead on for me.
Yeah, you're right. I think maybe just in general a little more detail in the CGI, right? You have to remember that the animation that Chopper was introduced in was like, I don't know, year 2000 or something.
Right,
like,
it's crazy.
So it's like it's been a while. Lots of cool detail. I think they brought him to life really well. I think the voice actress did a phenomenal job with his voice. I don't even know if she was really super familiar with the work before she started, like, getting involved with this, but she crushed it for sure. And just like a little side note, I was watching some of like the behind the scenes stuff, and they actually had like a different actress, like I think it was a kid, wearing like an apparatus similar to Chopper's hat. And like on her head or whatever, and like the crew or like the actors were interacting with that actress, small actress, with the apparatus on their head to try to imitate Chopper, CGI form. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it was funny to see them like. There was like a scene near the end where they were. What were they doing? They were like drinking in the ship, and they were like they were acting funny. I can't remember exactly what they were doing. But it was like
the cherry blossom scene.
It was like it was after that. They were like dancing or something.
Oh
on the
yeah.
ship, and like they
were
like,
drinking.
Yeah, they were like showing that scene with like the little kid kind of like getting smothered. I think Zorro then puts Chopper on his shoulder afterwards and stuff like that. So it was just cool to see. So I think they did a great job. Small, I don't know, maybe just personal preference, but I wasn't like the biggest fan of Chopper in his like biggest form.
Yeah, agreed. He did look a little off.
Yeah, but I like went back and like looked at. It does look pretty close to what he looks like when he transforms in the anime, but I really liked the first two forms, the CGI forms, and then like I felt it was a bit of a digression when they went to the dude in the suit.
No, you're right. It definitely reminded me of like Jim Carrey's The Grinch vibes.
Oh.
Like it was like that
Yes.
kind of vibe.
Good
for
call.
Sure.
Good call.
Yeah.
You know, have you
Yeah.
guys seen
Glad you
the
brought that
Umbrella
up, I forgot.
Academy?
Yeah.
No, I know what it is. I haven't
You
seen
know the
it,
big
though.
dude, like when he gets like big and hairy or whatever, like the Beast. That's what those are the vibes it gave me. But young Tony, they crushed it. Great name too, by the way.
Yeah. It's
All the names in the show are a lot of good names.
Agreed. So last one we got is the guy we've discussed him already, but here look. That hair is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't fit the anime top portion of his hair there, but you get the idea. I'm sure that cone up top is pristine.
It even goes out at the back too. It's
Right.
a four-way. Yeah,
It's a quad.
If you look closely,
That's
you can
true.
see it.
Yeah.
It's a four-way cone.
Yeah. But
They nailed what a smile in the anime one though.
yeah,
It's a full set
somewhat
of chompers.
creepy, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like this one exactly. Like the live action is definitely more wholesome, Christopher Lloyd-esque, friendly energy, whereas this one is kind of almost sinister, you could say, about the anime one.
Oh, yeah.
Like I wouldn't trust this guy handing me
If
mushrooms.
you told me he's a Baroque works agent, I'd believe you.
100%.
Maybe he is.
right?
Whoa.
Might not be the end of Hiruluk. But yeah, so I mean, like you said earlier, Curtis, we went over him in that he wasn't the most memorable character in the anime, so kudos to the live action actor Mark Hiruluk to bring him to life and really extract additional, I don't know, emotional beats out of this
Right.
character. So I know this was fun to go through, just see like again how close they nailed all these the looks, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what other creatures they've got for us in the upcoming seasons. Is there anything else for season 2 that you guys feel like we haven't gone over that you want to discuss or get into some future of the show talk? Anything in this season?
Well, for myself, like the exercise we just went over highlights to me why I love this show, because the different characters we experience and the look of them, and like we didn't really talk a lot about him, but King Wapol, like kind of he's still look cool with his metal jaw in my opinion, and his outrageous dialogue, spewing of dialogue, and I didn't mind that because it was like a cartoony villain, like out of a Saturday morning cartoon. I don't mind that. I love those. I used to love watching those. And like his outrageous plans, and like when he slaps Princess Vivi as a kid, I'm like, oh my god, what a scum! And like his mechanized soldiers coming out of his mouth, that was cool. I kind of enjoyed that, all of that, and the siege on the village or the fight in the village. I kind of enjoyed all that, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But no, like stuff like that. That's what makes that hour-long episode rip by, and like I just want more. I just want to see more of the characters in this world. And that sentence I just said can just sum up the show for me and why I love it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me with this show, like when I was talking to Curtis while I was watching, he's like, all right, man, are you done yet? Because it took me like a month and a half to watch this season, because I wanted this to last as long as I could. Like I was stretching it out a la Luffy and just trying to enjoy this as long as I could, because I wasn't ready to have to wait like 2.5 more years for the next season. Which thankfully I'm happy to report. I don't know if you know, Matt, season 3 out next year. Like they're filming it as we speak, so that's very encouraging to hear that they're not gonna wait an exponential amount of time in between seasons. But no, great season of TV. I had a blast watching this, and a thing I like is that they never expose their hand fully, and they truly give us the full picture. Like they're just dropping little hints here and there. And like I said earlier about my Gold Roger take, I feel like they're just slowly building up to a lot of big things to come and revelations, and culminating with everyone achieving their goals. Like that's kind of my call, is that everyone is going to end up achieving their goals just by, it's the old adage, if you hang out with 4 millionaires, you're going to become the 5th. And Luffy is that the driving force that'll push everyone to achieve their potential and reach their dreams, even in they don't believe in themselves initially. Just hanging out with him, his confidence in himself just exudes and carries out to everyone throughout the show. So love that. It's a great lesson in life, just be like Luffy. I feel like we'd be better off if we had a Luffy in our lives.
The world needs more Luffys, for
sure.
I had a couple small things like from the season I wanted to touch on. I wanted to know what you like, if you guys caught on, and like what you thought about them mentioning the warlords of the sea. Was that anything that kind of stuck with you guys, and like what kind of thoughts ran through your head as they talked about that? Or was it kind of just like something that came and went, and it was just like in passing?
So we've been introduced to one, right? With Dracul is one of them. So that had been in the back of my mind of like, okay, like there are 6 others to come as well. I don't think we've seen another one. There wasn't another one this season, unless the Shadow Dragon was one of them, and that was just a little Easter egg there. But I think, given where this show is not gonna it's not gonna go the length of the anime, I don't know if they're gonna show us all of the 7 warlords, right? Like that's another thing I'll just throw out there now. There's gonna be more to come, but are we gonna see the 7? I guess you kind of have to show them all if you say there's 7. But you had mentioned last time we did the pod what they were, so I do recall that it's like these guys who are pirates, and they work with the world government. Like they can be called upon as required, so they're vigilantes who do their own thing, but when the call comes, they have to answer, basically.
Yeah, and like their whole shtick is like they're to keep the smaller pirates at bay, basically, right? They're like kind of owning the seas and keeping people out, gatekeeping, if you will. But I always like this kind of trope of like a group of like a almost like a numbered group of individuals, you know, like not that they're like numbered by strength or whatever, but it's just like I don't know, I like a large cast of like of you know, I'll say villains in this case, but you know, that's to be interpreted. Yeah, I don't know, I'm having a hard time not saying more as well.
Must
like,
be hard, Curtis.
Yeah.
I definitely heard the mention of the Warlords of the Sea, and I'm definitely waiting to see more in the next season. And yeah, I gather that they're just like a policing pirate, like they're there to like the government's going to tolerate their criminal activity if they can keep all the riffraff out all the garbage riffraff at bay, which they do mention in this season at one point. Like, aren't the Warlords supposed to protect us? Like that round table meeting, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was fascinating. The flashback sequence with all like that round table. Like, who are all these kingdoms and people? I want to know now. Yeah.
It's true. So I feel like that's another reason why I think a rewatch of this season would be beneficial, where you pick up these things like that round table. I'm sure there were little things, Easter eggs that were dropped in there that flew over our heads. Matt, you caught the Warlord comment, so no, that's what I love about the show. The world's so vast, there's so much to see. They plant the seeds, and the trees come in 2027. But yeah. What was the other thing that you wanted to discuss?
I guess we were gonna segue into like what comes next, but like kind of the end. I wanted to know like what you guys kind of thought about the end of season 2, which was like the introduction of Mr. Zero, which like I'm pretty sure they said his real name. Did they not?
They did.
Yeah.
Okay, Crocodile.
Yeah.
They said Crocodile is his name.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm pretty sure they mentioned that in the show. So I mean, all the golden crocodiles hanging around and stuff might have given it away. But yeah, I'm like 99% sure they said it.
Is that supposed to mean something though to us as viewers up until this point?
Not really. That's just like, you know, his code name is Mr. Zero, but his he goes by Crocodile. And I don't know, I just like kind of wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were on like, you know, how that ended and like what you thought the next season would bring based on how it ended.
So there was a crocodile in the water, so we got to see like the inside of his ship, and then it zoomed to the outside and he's underwater, it looked like, and I want to say there was a crocodile floating around, so it would make sense that he's probably a devil fruit crocodile. Some sort of power along those lines would make sense. So yeah, it's gonna be Mr. Zero, and then the battle for Alabastus. Like that's the season to come. So Vivi's country is being oppressed. Now I'm gonna have to rewatch to get the full details here, but basically they're trying to free her country, I think, is the goal here. So it's gonna end like that. I think they're gonna get to free her country. She'll probably stay back as queen. Is my call there. Again, I would like her to stay on the crew, but they're probably going to meet other characters who are going to become new crew members. I feel like that's a safe call. So that's probably what's going to happen. A few new characters, battle for Alabastus, Zero is taken down, and then you move off of Baroque. I think you leave them in the past. 2 seasons for them. Keep island hopping. Having new adventures. That's what I think for the next immediate season is to come.
That's a good call, Eric. I like the whole crocodile reveal at the end. I like the casting of Joe Manganiello as Mr. Zero, aka Shadow Crocodile, but he was really cool. He's a presence, that guy. He's got a good voice. He's sinister and menacing looking. They even like blue contact. He looks even like a scarier crocodile. That was cool. like that zoom out with the crocodile and underwater. I got like Dr. Evil vibes for some reason. Like,
Yeah.
this is his underwater
Yeah.
lair, like stroking his like cat or pet crocodile, like talking to Miss all Sunday, like Baroque works. They were just pawns, and now my real master plan's about to happen, and it got really cool, like Dr. Evil sinister vibes. Next season, I think we're gonna get a lot of staying in one place and not moving around as much in Alabasta, and learning about that whole kingdom, and ultimately at the end settling that conflict and moving on. But season 3, I think we'll see more of the government of the One Piece universe, like the world, like how things work, not just like on the ship, but more political power plays and stuff like that. A more like mature political scene in One Piece. That's what I'm hoping to see and what I think we'll see. Curtis, I'd ask you, like, you've seen the show, but you know that live action show will be different. So what do you think the live action is going to do in season 3?
Yeah, I won't give too much. Obviously, I'm very excited about Crocodile.
Nice.
I think that we've seen some pretty cool villains, you know, and like I may have said this in episode 1, but One Piece is kind of notorious for having like kind of clowny villains, you know, like literally and figuratively. Shout out Buggy.
Yeah.
But Crocodile is like a badass villain. Like he's a good villain, you know.
Good.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how that whole arc plays out. Other than that, I think you guys both have really good takes. Super excited for next season. Because I think maybe both of you touched on it. I also wanted to ask, with what you've seen so far and the crew that Luffy has put together, maybe I'll start with Matt this time. What, like, if you had to think about it, what do you guys think would be like a logical next addition to the crew? Just in terms of like, more so from the, from like the role
Like a role,
standpoint.
yeah.
Not like a person.
Yep.
But like
Their utility.
Yeah. Do you
Like,
have
they
any?
have a
Do you have
doctor
any
now.
ideas? Like they just added a doctor.
Mhm.
What are some ideas that you guys think would be like?
Like the first thing that popped in my head is like more like an engineer, repairman type, like invention creator. But maybe Usopp is that role. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
kind of.
he created that like makeshift crossbow that got Vivi up that mountain pretty quickly.
Yeah, true.
That's a great question. I need time to think on that. They have the soldier, the chef, the navigator, the doctor, Usopp.
The Usopp.
So Usopp actually covers a few roles. Like you
He
just said,
does.
inventor.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to mind for me was like a blacksmith, weapon repair smith, but Usopp could kind of be that. And then the other thing I thought of was someone who could maybe like a salesman or woman, like a negotiator to get stuff. But Usopp can also be that
Yeah.
guy too. So I don't know.
Maybe a musician,
He's
an artist.
Yeah, there you go. I kind of like that. A musician for the vibes. Sax. The sack. But yeah, I mean that could make sense.
Well, didn't Luffy invite Igaram to be?
Right.
That's right.
So that's a good shout. It's,
Yeah.
But
A singer maybe, yeah. Singer songwriter.
but Luffy already sings.
I was gonna say Luffy takes care of the entertainment.
Yeah.
But he did sing to Laboon. So.
Oh right, yeah. Okay. So, but I still think like a blacksmith, like weapon repair, really applies to Zoro for his swords, and then maybe Usopp for the slingshot if it needs some tweaking with the strings. But because no one else, like Sanji, you get a cobbler for him. Or
Yeah,
something.
he's pretty locked in. He's pretty locked in.
Pedicurist.
Yeah, exactly. And Nami, like for her stick, right? That needs some repairs. I don't know. So I mean, I feel like a weapon expert makes sense, but I think it should be another girl who joins the crew. Like that'd probably be my pick. They need another girl, especially if we were to lose Vivi. I think it can't just be just a bunch of dudes and then Nami, but yeah, 2 more people. I feel like that's what we're gonna see next season. 2 more additions,
Okay, I like it.
guy and girl. Yeah, it can't be 2 dudes.
One
Just can't.
Yeah. One could be an apprentice, like doesn't really have a utility but learns one and is
True.
hoping to become a pirate and learn the ship, like a helper for Nami maybe.
Yeah.
Which would be Usopp probably right now.
Man, Usopp's wearing a lot of hats.
Oh,
in this,
Usopp is
hypothetical.
jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ace of spades. But
I think his role is actually like I think he's supposed to be the guy who mans the cannons. I think that is like technically he's like that kind of guy, but he's the sniper.
yeah.
He is a sniper.
He's
He's
the
very
marksman.
good at that.
Yeah, he's a marksman.
Poindexter, yeah.
Speaking of their anime look to the live action, I find that while yes, the the character in general is kind of annoying, I like the actor way more than the look of the anime Usopp. I don't know if you've seen him.
No.
He looks like
I'll go.
Pinocchio out there with
His
that
nose is
schnoz.
super
Yeah.
long.
I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, just a unique look. For
Yeah.
him. I do think. I mean, the casting I
Like-
think is great. Obviously, they're not going to find someone with a nose
No,
like
give
that.
him a
but-
prosthetic or
but
something.
No, yeah, they crushed it. So, but yeah, no, that's interesting.
Wait, there's some tough angle like this. That's just
Yeah.
tough stuff.
Yeah, that's a bad angle.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Cyrano.
Yeah.
Do you guys said a lot of things there. Do you want me to tell you if any of those were correct or just
No.
leave it?
I want to
Just
go in
leave
as
it?
blind as possible.
I would just say
Personally,
yes or no, but I won't say anything. So
I mean,
Is some of what we said correct?
no, well, Eric doesn't want to know. So.
well, Matt wants to know. So, anyways, I think there's a lot of potential with this show. As we know, the sea is a vast entity, right? Beyond, so I just want to say now, like beyond season 3, if we're focusing all on Alabastus next season and world government exploration, I feel like something that is inevitable, and I mentioned earlier, is Luffy's, again, ties to Gold Roger, existent or not. I think that has to start to be more explored thoroughly. Maybe as of next season, honestly. I want more on that front. Like, I want to learn. I want to know if he is his son or not.
You want to know his family tree is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much sooner than later. I think that's to come.
Mm-hmm.
And mentioned it earlier, like this shows the intention's not to catch up to the anime. I think this is a show that could run for like 6 seasons. I think that's a perfect amount for it. If you shorten a lot of the arcs from the anime, and that's still a solid show. 6 seasons, Alabastus is done. Then you take from the anime kind of the more interesting. I know you're in
Alabasta.
Alabasta. You've been sitting there just holding your biting your tongue. Alabastus, but
Well, 6 seasons isn't enough. That's what I
isn't
would say.
enough.
No.
But just like think of this production and
I know.
shows typically like look at Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
If that's a show that ended at 6 seasons, it's talked about as one of the best shows of all time. It's tarnished by those especially the last season. The last 2
agree.
though.
But
Screwed
how
it.
many episodes were in some of those seasons?
It was the same as one. It was 10 episodes per season, and then they started going to 8 and 7 or 6 the
Okay.
last one. So it's comparable. I feel like 6 for a show of this magnitude. You have so much from the anime to pick and choose from. You just take the best lore and
That's a good
adapt
point.
it. I mean, I know you're cutting out a lot of good character development and adventures, but like this can't be a 20 season show.
It's
Like,
so hard
realistically.
to talk about this without spoilers, but honestly, things that have happened in the live action right now come back years later in the anime.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not just saying it because there's a lot. It would be so difficult. Like, you'd need to almost like do quick recaps or like quick bridges on certain parts of the story to like get to where you want to get. And you know, you need to determine what is the end goal for the live action. Is it to complete the story, or is it just to tell up to a certain part? Because you know, like you're gonna find yourself incomplete, almost stopping almost anywhere, like in that range of like 6 seasons. Like if you think about it, after 3 seasons, we're only done, like, you know, like we'll say like the Alabasta arc is done, right?
Yeah.
3 more seasons does not get you very far. And even if you're like you know, even if you're picking and choosing certain things, you're either skipping things that need to be explained, or you're just saying, hey, we're done here, and this is where we're, and you know, maybe that is what they do, but I just find it hard to like to imagine like that story even coming close to like a conclusion, even if it's not the end, you know, like a logical conclusion that would happen that quickly. So I don't know. It's tough. It's such an ambitious thing to take on, right? Like you have to wonder, do they know what the end goal for this show is?
I think they do. I think I've seen that the creator has told the cast that there is a specific end point for this live action show.
Okay.
But I think that has to be the end of the anime. It has to line up with the end of the anime too, because how can you end this? Okay, I'm asking you guys. Do you think you can end this show without Luffy finding the One Piece, the live action? Would that make sense? And,
Oh, no, that has to be the ending. But I think the anime can go on long after this live action show is done. It's going to be live in its own little entity and world. The nature of Netflix and streaming right now is not to do these long shows. It's to do 4 or 5 seasons and come up with a next big hit to get more people to subscribe to your service. So I don't think they're going to give One Piece its flowers and make it run for 8-10 seasons. It's going to be a 4 or 5 season show, sadly. And they're only going to show like highlights of the anime. Sadly for you, Curtis, you're not going to see all the cool stuff that's in the anime show. And then they're going to wrap it up, and maybe they'll wrap it up too hastily, and it's going to be like, well, that was way too quick, and then the anime fans will still have the anime to watch, and that will go on for much longer. Sadly, I think that's what Netflix is going to do. They're not there to continue existing shows. They're there to come up with the next big one, to get new subscribers. They already have all the One Piece fans subscribed to it, so I'm scared that they won't give One Piece its flowers at the end. They're not going to allow it to go the distance for like seasons wise.
Do you think they will fabricate a different ending?
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps.
Because that
absolutely.
would be very
absolutely.
be very weird if like the anime was still going and that hadn't been resolved yet.
Oh no, I can.
Then they come to a unique ending for the live. I mean, it's
totally
possible.
see that.
I could
totally see that.
I could see that happening for sure. Where you maybe tee up in this live action show, it's like you're making the world government to be like your villain. Because I don't know how relevant they end up being in the anime, but so far we've had a full season of Garp is like kind of like a opposing force to Luffy. Now we got Smoker introduced. We've dealt with a few little Baroques. They're almost done. But you just said there's more world government militia coming in. So maybe you kind of turn it around where it becomes a Luffy and his crew trying to find the One Piece, and they're only opposed by the world government or whatever. And it's going to end with the One Piece being found, but it's a kind of a new show now where you have picked from the source material for influence, but you make modifications. That could make sense.
It's just, how do you differ that from like what the end goal is for the anime, and then like, you know, you have the people watching the anime being like, is this how it's gonna end in the anime too? You know?
It's a weird situation.
It's just it's almost like they're finishing the story before the source material at that point.
But isn't the source material almost coming to an end? Isn't this the last season, apparently? Supposedly, it's not. No. Okay.
No, I think last time
there's a
sorry,
new.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think last time I was on the show, I think the creator said it would be about 5 more years.
Okay, so that was
So maybe a
2023.
couple more years.
We have precedents for this before, guys. Like Game of Thrones, the books will never end, and the show ended beforehand. Like this is what's gonna happen. The live action show is gonna close it out its own way, and the anime is gonna close itself out its other way. That's just the reality of it, sadly.
Is it sadly though? Because then that gives us kind of two
true.
different avenues to explore this world with different outcomes.
Right.
Which maybe I could see they're similar in the sense where, like, again, One Piece found in the end can't end any other way, in my opinion. But it's just the journey slightly longer in one case.
Slightly.
Yeah, it's just a tad. But
Well, you guys are gonna be hit with all the spoilers from me if that's the case, because you're not gonna watch it any other way.
so,
right?
well, perfect segue in that another thing that One Piece, the world, I guess, has just been announced is that they're gonna redo a new anime of One Piece with a different animation studio, I guess, more modern. Which that I'm curious. I'll for sure watch, but I wonder if they're gonna start again from episode 1 on and retell this story again, just for a newer audience with a condensed version, like the One Piece style there. But
Mhm.
I could see that is something I would tune into because I am interested in the anime, the lore. There's so much I want to learn about, but it's just too ambitious. Like, I would have to drop every other show and movie and book in my life for this anime for it to make sense, and that's just not gonna happen. But I remember when I was on Twitter, like there was an episode that dropped a few years ago, and it had the internet going crazy, and it had to do with a character that we have seen already. So I know that there are some characters who were introduced real quick and are coming back later with big moments. So those are the kind of things I want to see happen.
I don't even know which one you're talking about.
So
I'll have to.
do you mind if I just say the name?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm talking like it's a Shanks moment.
Oh, okay.
This was like a few years ago though, so you must have seen this.
Interesting.
Episode 1329 or something.
No, I'm not that far yet.
Oh, okay.
That much. Well,
I just made that number up out of
No,
thin
I
air,
don't-
but it's something like that.
no. I don't even think they're at that episode.
I think
yet.
it's 14 now. No,
Really.
I think so.
That's incredible.
But anyway, apparently, so that's why. Like, I do hope they bring the Shanks character back because I know there's big stuff coming with this guy.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Eventually, you'll see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard because I want to talk about all the cool stuff that's gonna happen, and I don't know when it's gonna happen, or if you
if.
guys are even gonna
Yeah.
see it, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough in that sense. But I am also very excited for the Wit Studio remake. So Eric, it's the same studio that did Attack on Titan.
It's cool.
It's they've touted it as being a little bit more of a mature approach. Like they stated that One Piece originally was geared similar to like a Sunday morning cartoon or a Saturday morning cartoon. It aired at 9 a.m. on weekends in Japan, and it was like it was kind of catered to a younger audience, like to some degree. But this is going to be a little bit more mature, a little bit more fast paced, and they've kind of understood that the landscape has changed with regards to people's attention span, things like that. So, delivering it in a bit more of a digestible pace versus stretching things out. Plus, you have the source material basically done now, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to delay like the original anime did, putting out filler episodes, filler arcs, buying time for the manga to catch up, or for the manga to to make a big enough gap that you could then start making TV shows of it again. So, I mean, it's very weird to see a remake before the original's done,
Yeah.
but
Too soon.
I think there's enough space between the two that the remake won't catch up, and you'll get modernized delivery of an amazing story. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Like,
I'll
I
watch
can't wait
that.
for
Yeah,
it.
me
Sure.
too. That interests me a lot too.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check that out. Man, everything's just coming up. One Piece is proving that it's not a one-hit wonder, too, right? 2 great seasons in the books, and with the promise of a third on the horizon, and the anime to be released, who knows when there, it bodes well for this franchise. I think it's going to only cast a wider net going forward, hopefully, and yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm pumped that season 3's coming next year. I did not want to have to wait a few years for this, so can't wait to see Croc in action. But yeah, anything else you guys wanted to touch on regarding One Piece? Any other predictions, Matt? Or
No, I think I've said all I needed to say. I'm very excited for the next season because I thought season 2 I liked it more than season 1. Like I felt like this show's ramping up, and I hope season 3 is even better. And I'm very happy that it's coming out next year. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. What about you, Curtis?
Just very quick question. Best devil fruit power so far?
Yeah.
well, I'm just trying to run them down
Yeah.
like in my mind now. Like Smoker's pretty sick in terms of like his appeal. Like I don't know if that's what I would want for myself. Have an iron lung at all times. I have to be puffing down on a Cuban 24/7.
Double Cuban.
Yeah, double cubes. Do you have something, Matt?
Yeah, maybe an underrated one, but Miss Valentine, like flying and super strength, she can kind of do both with changing the weight of her body at all times. Like her her kick can be like the power of a mountain, and she can also levitate because she can make herself light. So that's kind of a cool power right there. I'll go with that one.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Miss Goldilocks, control people's emotions.
That's cool too.
That's
cool.
that's a powerful one right
Golden
there.
Week.
Goldilocks.
Just nailing
She
these
looks like
names.
Goldilocks,
Yeah, there we
so,
go.
yeah.
There we go.
That's an underrated power, actually. She can manipulate a crowd.
Legit,
Like,
yeah.
I thought Eric was gonna go with the Book
I
of
was
Bombs.
legit gonna go there, honestly, but then I thought about Golden Week and switched it up. What about you, Curtis?
I like Smokers.
Yeah,
just
Smokers
just for
sick.
the live action. I think Nico Robbins is
King.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the evolution of Luffy's is pretty cool. So I mean, like
Okay.
it revolves around him, obviously, but
Spoiler.
you know he's got no, I just mean like there's in general the possibilities are endless, right?
Yeah.
So it's
He's done more in this season than the last.
Right.
He's
like,
pretty much invincible,
Right.
with the rubber skin,
just don't
right?
fall
so,
in the water,
yeah, right, yeah.
which he like rides on the front of the ship,
Yeah.
during precarious times.
No
and,
fear.
Yeah, just like, dude, what
He's
did
just
you
loving
fall
the
in?
ride.
Forgot
Well,
about
I
that.
kind of had to mention that because Eric was talking about kind of like the simplicity of Luffy, and not to say what's gonna happen, but just remember we are still early days, and like people do tend to get stronger and stuff as these stories go on. So that could go for any character basically, right? So it is pretty basic right now, but I think the growth is a big part of the journey. So.
So Aaron Yeager path
Yeah.
confirmed. Okay.
Oh yeah,
okay.
just kill everyone for sure.
Sounds good. No, I can't wait to see it, honestly. And yeah, I'm more likely to watch this new anime rendition than the old. But again, like I am very interested, and it's tempting for me to want to Google these characters and just find out about them. But I have to just remind myself to not, because you see stuff, unfortunately. Episode 1329. It's just every time I close my eyes, I see those clips. So it's hard, but no. Great job, Netflix. Nailed it. We'll be tuning in for the next season. Is there anything you guys want to recommend in terms of stuff you're watching, consuming in any form? Curtis?
Yeah, putting me on the spot here.
You can go first if you want. I got stuff handy, but
I'm mostly an anime guy right now,
Okay.
so I guess shout out Hell's Paradise, Mappa Studio delivering a amazing retelling of a very dark and action-packed story with a lot of blood, a lot of beauty, and a lot of death. So kind of my vibe. So I think it's on Netflix right now.
okay.
So yeah, if anyone's looking for something along those lines, then check it out.
A lot of animes are on Netflix, actually. I think One Piece is all on Netflix, the anime. So it pops up there. Actually, yeah, I had started episode 1 a few weeks ago.
It's
but
a long journey.
yeah, I know.
Damn.
I'm like, nah, I
About
can't
6
do it.
minutes in,
Yeah,
and then paused it
pretty much.
forever.
I'm myself right now. I'm definitely more TV than more movie oriented. I've barely been watching any movies, but TV I've been watching. Okay, I want to recommend Daredevil Born Again season 2. That's started. There's 4 episodes out as the moment of recording, and it's really really good so far. There's a new Disney Star Wars show, Maul Shadow Lord. Excellent so far. First 2 episodes are perfect. Not even joking. I'm also watching on Apple TV, there's Shrinking and Your Friends and Neighbors. Season 3 of Shrinking, Season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors. There's The Boys that just dropped on Amazon Prime. That I haven't started yet, but I recommend the show. I really love it. There's, what else? I'm rerunning Peaky Blinders right now. That's on Netflix. My girlfriend's never seen it. We're loving it. That's another good show. I'm trying to watch 6-7 shows at once, guys, and it's sometimes it's mind-boggling. I have to write down all these shows I'm watching too, so I don't forget any. But that's my TV watching journey at the moment.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders. I had stopped at the last season, but I do want to finish the show so I can then watch the movie as well. That's kind of why. Have you watched Peaky Blinders, Curtis?
Just a bit at the beginning. Yeah.
I thought it was good. I mean, I feel like it gets repetitive,
Okay.
but overall, it's an enjoyable show. Cillian Murphy's really badass character and a cool character to want to root for, even though he gets up to some questionable activities. but all complex characters do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna finish that up soon as well. I got like 10 minutes into episode 1 the other day, but it's on the back burner. So I've watched a few movies lately. I'll recommend one that's in theaters now. It's called The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. So in a nutshell, these are two characters who are about to get married. They're about a week away from their marriage, from their wedding day, and then they play this game with another couple in which, well, anyways, I'll just say they end up revealing secrets about themselves like right before their wedding, and it causes some troubles in the marriage and a lot of relationships in their lives as well. And from there, it kind of escalates into a pretty wild ride. Like, I went into it not knowing much at all. I did know that something happens before the wedding. Didn't know what. I'm not going to say what it is, but from that moment on, it escalates, and just the Pattinson's and Zendaya chemistry is great. It's a pretty funny movie too, honestly, which helps make the at times dark content subject matter enjoyable. And the acting is fantastic. Great movie. Definitely recommend. I saw it in theaters, and I was one of the only ones laughing in the theater. I don't know what that says about me or everyone else is taking it too seriously, but I thought it was really funny and great movie. The Drama. Check it out for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that movie.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, we can cap it off here there. Keep some recs for another time. But, yeah, no, a lot of fun going over this, Kurtis, as per usual. Always love having you on here. Won't be the last time.
Thanks, boys.
Any final notes for the listeners?
No, just, keep sailing the high seas.
Let's go. Well said. Just searching for the all blue. Matt, pleasure. Killed it as per usual. Any final notes for the listeners?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I want to thank you, Kurtis, for coming on the show. You were amazing, as usual. We got to talk for another 90 minutes, I felt like. There's so much to say, and
for sure.
love hearing you talk about something you're passionate about.
Thank you.
And Eric, you also killed it as well, and always a pleasure. And thank you, all the listeners, again. Thank you for listening, and yeah.
Well said, Matt. So thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned for episodes dropping every 2 Mondays. Continue to cheer on our Ottawa Senators on the cusp of the playoffs at the time of recording. 99% chance that we're making it in. And yeah, peace.